You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
Welcome to the Boss Hog of Liberty podcast. This is episode number 90 of East Central Indiana's favorite podcast. I'm Jeremiah Morrell, and today we are joined by co-host Kade Koger, and as always, Dakota Davis.
Today's episode is going to be featuring Mr. Logan Cook. Logan is a car salesman. He is a comedian.
A used car salesman.
Oh, I sell new, too. Don't think I don't.
Hey, come on now. And I should have led with comedian. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I don't identify as anything
particularly. He's a comedian, a car salesman, and he could beat up any one of us.
Not all of you at the same time, probably.
I bet you could. And he's also great friends with the one and only Tanner Purdue.
Yes, Tanner. Good kid. He's a little troublemaker.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. As is the rest of the crowd.
Yeah, right.
All right. Today we are going to be talking about some comedy work and being a comedian in the great state of Indiana. We're going to be talking about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and then we will also be talking about jail reform and the changes that look like they're going to be coming to Henry County's justice system.
So we got all that lined up. This show is about our lives in rural Indiana. As always, we promise our episodes are going to be fun and an easy listen. You never know where they're going to go. We have a little bit of an outline, but it's free form, and we have fun together. Number one way you guys can support the show, other than our Patreon, is to like, share, subscribe, give it 5 stars, unless your mom, you gave me 4 stars on Facebook, and I'll never forget it.
The audio quality was bad.
It was just rough. You can always do better, son. That's my life. But seriously, as you're listening, share
a tyrannical mother.
Share it with the friends. That's how we grow the show. What's going on in the Patreon world, Dakota? You got anybody new subscribing?
Nobody knew.
Nothing new this week.
No,
we're failing.
Nothing new this week.
We will.
We're
at the top
we're
of the
have
show.
Some great.
We've got
stuff.
something coming up at the end. That's going to be just for the Patreon people.
Mm-hmm. We're going to see Kade get beat up.
Cade's going to get his,
alert. Yep.
Cade's going to get his ass kicked just for the Patreon.
Going to get wrecked.
Well, I don't know.
Anything for content.
I heard 3-stripe white belt, and I walk in, and it's like Captain America. Shit, what did I sign up for?
He's got a mustache now, so he can bench press automatically 25 pounds more.
Yeah.
That's only when he's wearing his cop uniform, right?
Yeah.
So as I look over at Kade, Cade's been... First of all, you brought in a dead animal. It's laid across the table.
On my way to the studio on my horse, I saw a perfect coyote pelt and took it out to bring it into the trapper. So
yeah,
nice.
So
figured I'd share it.
So there's peppermint and coyote. I don't know how they go together, but it's Christmas, so there's peppermint on the table.
Yep.
And
now you go to your crafting menu and you put them together. It turns into a nice foxskin stocking.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also something else there's metal. What's the metal, Kade?
I'm building these custom deer mounts. So if you have a traditional shoulder mount for a buck or antelope or whatever you got on the wall, that's a trophy for you.
Do you have an antelope on the wall?
I don't. I just have deer.
Not yet.
Yeah. I'm selling my Harley, so if you need to buy a Harley, buy it. I'm going to put it into an adventure fund, and we're going to really live out this Red Dead Redemption thing.
Yes.
What's your favorite method of hunting?
Bow hunting,
nice,
for sure.
Nice.
Absolutely.
What kind of bow do you have?
Hoyt.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice. I've been wanting to get into bow hunting, so we'll have to talk after the show.
Sure, absolutely.
I have a children's bow if you would like one.
Does it come with suction cup arrows? Because if that's the case, then yes. I would love one.
Everybody's got to start somewhere.
Right.
Yeah. That's where I started, man.
Hey, started from the bottom, and now you're slightly above the bottom.
Still at the bottom. I'm still at the bottom.
His is Hoyt and yours is Nerf. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right, so Patreon, if people want to support the show, obviously patreon.com/Boss Hog of Liberty. You do get all kinds of cool exclusive content in there. We're going to work on something fun. In the front room of the studio, we didn't bring a mat, so we're just going to do this barroom brawl style, but there's going to be a roll between Logan and Kade. Logan is a 97th degree black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
No, ninjutsu. Please get it right. If my sensei Steven Seagal heard that online like this, it'd be very bad.
It would be the end.
It would be the end. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Ninjutsu. I love it. Yes.
All
No,
right.
it's Aikido. That's what it is. And so.
Oh, keto. I'm doing that. Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta keep-
I don't have any carbs.
I got you. Roger that.
Yeah.
I think Steven Seagal could use some ketones.
Oh, so we've been losing our minds playing video games. I don't do. I play like 3 video games in the world. I was a Madden guy. I played Call of Duty.
Okay.
And I would sometimes lose a weekend to Minecraft. And I don't know how that happens. It's more of a social thing where I would play and I would be on with my friends and we would just dig in the ground and look for cool shit.
We're nerds.
Nothing wrong with that. I also love video games. From the time I was probably 13 till the time I found out that it was fun to hang out with girls, I played super realistic flight simulator video games. Like I had a stick and a throttle and rudder pedals. And
You had it all.
Oh yeah, I had the setup, dude. I had it was like in the early 2000s, and I had like early head tracking software.
Really?
And, oh yeah, it was crazy.
So if you're on a plane that's going down, you're the guy.
Oh, that's my biggest dream. That is my biggest dream. Like every time I get on a plane, I sit down and I like strap in. I'm just like, all right, this is the day.
So when you get your tickets, you're like, hey, I'm pretty high ranked on this flight simulator.
Yeah.
I'm like-
I always ask
Might
the
want to
pilot,
seat me
I'm
towards
like-
the front.
I'm like 4th in line in case of emergency, okay? Not if they need a doctor, but if they need a third pilot.
You always choose your seat and you pick the emergency aisles.
Oh,
and
no,
whenever the flight stewardess is like, "Sir, are you aware this is an emergency exit and are you capable of doing it?" Ma'am.
Are you aware I'm a pilot? Sort of.
I'm more than capable.
Like I just want to hear that announcement. Like the pilot's had a heart attack. The co-pilot has diabetes. He's passed out. Is anyone on this plane a pilot? And I can be like, well, yeah, kinda. I think I can figure it out. Planes aren't hard to fly.
They're all different. That's the thing. Like
Yeah.
I would do the flight simulator a little bit.
3 hours of actual flight experience,
Like
but,
the Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yeah,
I could do like Pro Pilot. Was that what it was?
Yeah, there was Pro Pilot. I played Combat Flight Simulator 2 and 3. That was like my jams.
Yeah.
I was like the best in the world at it at one point, but it was like 500 people that played, so it wasn't like that big of an accomplishment. But it was kind of cool, you know.
I feel like if it came down to it, I do enough with heavy machinery and tractors. I can probably figure it
They're
out.
all the same.
Oh yeah.
Well, I could fly a plane. Okay, I was finding that helicopter. I was out.
Oh
of
yeah,
it was
that's
impossible.
a different thing.
It was totally
They're
different.
way harder to fly. Way harder to fly.
Much more complicated.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And then it's
Have you ever
gone
played
now.
Battlefield 4? Like, gosh, even dumbed down helicopters are hard to fly.
Yeah, I would always fly at Meigs Field. That's gone now, but there used to be an airport in the lake in Chicago, like legitimately real life. There was an airport there, and then the mayor just said, "The hell with you people, I'm shutting it down," and he ripped out the runway over the weekend one time.
Over the weekend. Yeah.
It was
it's
next
kind
to-
of like
it was next
14th
to
Street,
Soldier Field.
Newcastle.
Yeah, basically the same authority.
So
Basically
what
the same way.
games are you guys playing right now? Red Dead, I
So
assume?
Red Dead is what has been killing us, and
See,
like
I can't let myself do it.
like what I said is I don't play a lot, and then when I do, I get into it. I downloaded Red Dead. You met Chris earlier. Chris was our behind the scenes guy, and Chris came over a couple weeks ago on a Friday night, and we said, "All right, let's buy." I impulsively bought it. I put no thought into it at all. I bought the game, 82 gigs. So we were going to play. It never even downloaded that night. It took all night to get the thing downloaded.
Yeah, how is it that we've regressed with video games?
Yeah, you used to have the disc and you could play immediately.
Right?
Now it's
Yeah.
now you need to plan it like a day and a half ahead that you're going to.
You could ride
Is
your
there-
bicycle to Blockbuster and pick up a Sega Genesis game and play it within 10 minutes.
There's 8 years
have to plan it
worth
out.
of coding inside Red Dead Redemption 2. 8 years. It's going to take a minute to get that on your Xbox.
So
Well, then, tell the nerds to figure it out. They already got this far. They can
This
make
is
it
what
faster.
pre-ordering is for.
the nerds that pre-ordered. I was an impulse purchase. They do not reward the impulse buy.
we can communicate with robots on Mars,
Allegedly.
but we can't immediately play Red Dead Redemption 2.
So it took me a day to download, and then I think it's going to take me 3 years to finish the game. I am on pace. It's going to take me forever. I'm like 10% in, and I spent a significant amount of time over the weekend. So as we've been playing, though, you guys are way further ahead. You're done with the game, Kade.
Yeah. Or a
I'm only-
storyline.
How many
I'm only
hours was it?
16%.
Storyline.
How many hours did you put in?
I didn't look at the stats.
You don't want
That's
to know.
smart. Yeah.
I kind of don't want to know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel bad about myself.
And Dakota, you're 16%.
Yeah.
And I'm like 10. So, and I noticed the other day, they're set up so there's like these different states or these areas in it, and you end up with like what the hell do they call it? It's like a bounty on your head, basically, or a fine that you have to pay in these states. So you have to stay out of one state into the next. And as you play the game, it tells you to go break these laws. Basically, you go do whatever. And I thought everybody's experience in this game is going to be different because you play it and different things happen as you go along.
Those damn O'Driscolls.
So, and the O'Driscoll clan is
Jumping
causing
out of
trouble
the
for me.
bushes.
I want to
I hate
know.
that.
I want like a segment of confession. Like what happened this week as you're playing this game, as you're going along, a confession of here's the crime I committed, and here's how it went wrong, and here's
I gotta go.
how much did it cost you? What did you do? So we'll start with Dakota.
All right, I got to go.
And I know yours is probably going to be much worse than mine. I feel bad about what I did, but I can only imagine.
Mine was a total mistake. Is what I'm going to go with. The story I'm going with was a total mistake.
It's going to be like they feel real bad about it. That's going to be like when they raise our taxes to build a new jail.
Yeah. So what happened was I was hunting legendary animals. There's legendary animals on the map that you can hunt, and you can sell their fur and carcasses for big bucks. And I hunted the legendary wolf. I killed the legendary wolf, and I took its carcass back to the mobile trapping station down
It
by
sounds like a Jordan
Strawberry.
Peterson lecture.
Yes,
That would be a lobster.
We killed the mythical wolf.
yes.
Metaphorically.
Archetypally. So I kill the wolf and I take it to the trapper that's north of Strawberry. I get there and it's my first
I've
time.
only been to Valentine.
It's my first time dealing with this guy, so that's why I wanted to go to him. And I sell my fur, sell the carcass, everything goes well, and then I get a notification that says you can craft a jacket out of the wolf fur, and I was like, wow, that'd be awesome. So I went up to him, and in my excitement, I pressed the left trigger to prompt to talk to him before the prompt showed up.
Does that fire the gun?
You skinned your smoke wagon.
So yeah, I aimed my pistol. at
Oh
him.
no!
Did you guys know that was Billy Bob Thornton in that movie? It's one of my favorite movies ever. I just found out like 3 months ago. I was watching through the credits after I watched it. I was like, no shit, Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing, right?
Good. I think I saw it on a meme from someone that had the same realization as you.
It was incredible, life changing.
It might have been your picture.
It might have been. I quoted that thing. I've quoted that line so many times.
But I pointed my pistol at him. He got very angry.
Oh, yeah.
And he started shooting at me. And then I had to kill him. So I shot him back. And now he hasn't returned. And he won't return.
He's gone in the game.
So I only have.
killed him.
There's only one trapper I can go to now.
Oh no!
Yeah. So
Gotta get that fast travel unlocked.
I did. I just did.
Do games
The
like that
legendary-
still have cheat codes?
No.
I think there
Not in the console world.
there might be.
anymore.
I haven't looked any up. There
It's
probably
that's
are some.
more of a PC thing because people are constantly
I think more
open
not-
sourcing.
It's more like
code.
glitches that people take advantage of now.
Oh, that used to be my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Halo 2.
You just like
super
AB,
jumping.
AB,
Yeah.
up, arrow up, and
Yeah.
all that crap.
Well,
Yeah.
and in
The-
certain
the-
games,
The shrill cries of preteens getting sniped on Ascension when you would super jump on to the top.
you're just a camper.
God. Like the best was when they would get so angry and then you would hear their mom tell them to quiet down. Those were the days, man. I long for those days.
Meatloaf.
Jonathan, you're taking
Man,
this
those
too
were,
far.
Those were my favorite, like probably my favorite video game days were playing like Halo 2 online and just messing with people. Like I convinced a guy, several people. It was like I had shticks I would run. Like I would convince people I was blind and playing with a Braille controller. Like I was pretty good. So like when I was tracking a guy getting ready to come up on him, I would just go beep 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 boop, and just jack him. And you do that enough times, like, what the hell is going on? Well, then you'd have to sell it, right? So I would every once in a while I'd just start shooting into a corner or spinning in circles, and I'd be like, my Braille machine is malfunctioning. Sorry to keep derailing you guys'
Oh,
stories.
this is welcome to the club. We do it all the time.
I think my crime was also an accident. I was on my way to the trapper in Saint Denis, and I was on my horse. And you get into town there, and it's like really tight. and I turned a corner, and there's a guy walking across the street, and I hit him with my horse. And that's basically, when you're in the middle of the city, that's an immediate death sentence.
Oh, yeah.
The cops come after you, and I just had to blast my way out of the city. I finally got away from him. It took me probably a good half hour.
What was your fine? What it cost?
It ended up being like $600 or $700.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
One time, this is a funny story. One time, there was, in a building right next to the sheriff's office in Valentine, there was a little notification that there was a stranger there I could talk to. So I was like, I'm going to go talk to this stranger. And I thought it was right outside the sheriff's station, but it was actually like the left.
You found the wrong stranger?
Yeah, I saw a sheriff, and I'm like, this must be the guy. And I keep trying to talk to him, keep greeting, and I had a bounty, and it took a while for him to finally alert everyone that
you were the
that
problem?
I was the guy. So I just kept antagonizing the dude. I'm like, wow, you look rough. Or like, no one should have to see those teeth. Like, I just kept saying these things to him because I'm like, dude, get the mission started. And then finally, he started shooting at me, and all the sheriffs came. And
did you die?
No, I didn't. I just hopped on my horse and ran away.
You just ran
your way out.
Yeah.
So as you go
this
through,
is like the audiobook version of Twitch.
as you go through this game, it tells you to do.
We need tokens.
I'm still trying to find
Sign
my
up
way
for
through it.
Patreon.
And it's like, go to this. You're collecting debts for somebody. So I'm trying to find this girl. I go to this town, and there's this girl and this guy. And every time I don't get off my horse, I just walk up to them and I try to talk to them, and instead they just run away. So I don't know what I'm trying to do. I finally went back and watched a YouTube video to see how it's actually supposed to go down because I'm just making it up as I go along. So I run up to this lady, and her boyfriend runs away, and he was like yelling at her or something. So I chase after him.
He's yelling at her about the money
that they probably owe me.
Yeah.
So I get up to him and I knock him down, and I wound up killing him accidentally. And then whatever. So you walk away and you come back, and
what have I done?
Magically they've respawned. He was really hard to kill too. It did not want me to accidentally kill him. I had to shoot him like 14 times. Finally he died, and I walk away, and he comes back. I come back to the town, and they're magically reincarnated. And I go back and I'm like, well, that didn't work. Let's try again. So I talk to her. And she runs all the way out of town again. And I tried to talk to her, and it wound up that I killed her. And this time there was a witness. Some guy driving by on his horse, on a wagon with a couple of draft horses.
Do you kill the witness, or do you defuse it?
So I shot the witness in the face. And
there was another witness that saw that one.
No, it didn't spiral.
How many people am I
Just
going
a
to
chain
kill?
event.
No, so it's like, okay, well, the witness is gone. He's dead. And I'm like, well, now his horses are here. So I detach the horses, and I get on the draft horse, and I tell my horse to follow. I'm like, well, I got a draft horse now. And I just come across this place. It's a stable. It was in the middle of nowhere. So I sold the horse. I'm like, well, I already committed the crime. I'm going to sell his horse.
Have you unlocked
I sold the horse
fences?
for $2.50. Yeah, there's a fence available, too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Can I fence a horse? I can sell it to a stable, or I could fence it?
Yeah.
There's one fence where you could take a whole stagecoach
No kidding.
and sell the whole
Yeah,
stagecoach.
that's one mission.
Yeah.
It opens up.
Oh, I did that
wait.
already. But I did that mission, but I haven't, whatever.
Yeah, you
Man.
can take horses or stage. You can
I can just find that
steal
guy
wagons
again. Yeah.
and take them in there. and
Well, I
they'll
killed
pay
the guy. I should have sold the whole wagon, but instead I just stole one horse like a novice, and I
Now you
sold it.
messed up.
I got $2.50 out
Where
of
you
it.
messed up, you could have
I probably
unlocked
could have
fast
had-
traveling by
Did you
now.
guys catch the South Park episode where they talked about
It was
this?
excellent. Very good.
It was awesome.
It was very good. Very good. The game's so realistic. Can you recreate Mr. Hands in it?
Mr.
What? I
Vance?
don't know what that means.
Off air.
All right.
If you guys don't know.
Yeah.
You guys aren't
Yeah.
entrenched in the internet enough. It's like a goatsy thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cade, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You swim in the same circles. It's like where catfish go. It's not good.
Yeah.
Bottom feeders.
Yeah.
The internet's a dark place.
It is, yeah.
Yeah,
That's the best
Bad.
part about it.
definitely
Yeah.
can be. You get trapped in these dark places, and you go on Facebook, and you see all the normal people, like your family, and you think, "Wow, these people live very sheltered lives." I've seen some things.
I have an older brother. That was something that he would always troll me with, was tell me to go to these websites and
Oh, yeah.
just scar you for life.
meatspin.com.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Don't know it. Not going.
Check out Penn Island if you haven't had a chance.
Nope, not doing it.
Pretty good.
We're going to have to mark this one explicit as well.
We haven't done anything wrong yet. If the kids type it in, that's on them.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Personal accountability.
Yeah. So other things we'll wrap up real quick before we get into the real conversation with Logan. I'm looking across the room at a nameless deer. Last week, before Kade just brings in dead animals now. He's like the cat that just drags shit in here.
I'm just a really good hunter.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chase.
Yeah, Chase has never brought us anything. Chase is our other co-host. He was on last week, and he goes deer hunting just so he can wear camo, but he hasn't killed anything since he was a teenager. But he couldn't do the show 3 weeks ago because he was hunting. He was out in the woods for like 4 days and I don't think he even saw a deer. He's too busy tweeting.
Do it for the gram.
Stop me when I'm wrong. He's like the Tommy. Tommy. God dang it.
Hilfiger?
No,
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about.
No, Parks and Rec. Tommy.
Oh, yeah.
Tom Haverford.
Tom Haverford.
He's the
yeah.
Tom Haverford of the show. He's
He
just the IG guy. So anyway, Chase Tom he never brought us a deer. Kade brought us a deer, but we were going to name it last week.
Mm-hmm.
And we put up a poll. It's out there now on the Boss Hog Facebook page. One of you guys can check and see how it's doing. I looked yesterday. It's a 7. Tom Haverford, my wife, finally posted. Way to be Johnny on the spot, sir. We had 2 options: John Chow
Or Mac.
or Mac. I said Mac on the show last week because it was hit by a county highway truck.
Ooh.
His rack is he's been glued back together.
A lot of racks have these days.
Or it's had some work done. Or John Chow, which if John Chow makes the comeback and wins, like 5 years from now, it's gonna be hilarious because nobody's gonna have any idea what that story was.
Yeah,
But,
John Chow is the missionary that was killed.
Oh, that guy.
That guy.
Woo.
Yeah, that's gonna be like a deep cut.
I wanted John Chow to win really bad because just like what you said, in 5-6 years, whatever, we're gonna be like, that's John Chow on the wall, and everyone's gonna be like, who the heck is John Chow?
Google it.
You know how good satellites are now? Like there's pictures of Area 51. They can see
Oh, yeah.
submarines underwater. That means that there's probably like way better satellites we don't know about. Does that mean that somewhere there's video of what happened to that guy?
Yeah.
Because there's nothing I want to see more. Because he went to the island 3
Like
times.
multiple times, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
he
went there once and they started throwing arrows and he was like, Jesus isn't here yet. Gets back in his boat, paddles off, goes back again.
Writes his diary.
Goes back again, gets to the shore, gets pushed back again like the Persians at Marathon. The next thing you know, he decides to wade into the island. Like, good Lord, he wrote in his diary that he knew he was going to die.
Yeah.
Somebody somewhere.
And then
in
he
a
uses the
cubicle was
satellite phone
watching
to
that.
send out the picture to people. Somehow it gets back out so we can all read it. And then he goes in and gets
Don't you wonder,
whacked.
what were those? God, the Islanders were very patient, I feel like.
They were like,
yeah,
just leave.
please.
3 strikes, you're out.
It's like a rattlesnake. It warned you.
Yeah.
We made 40 spears in the 40s when the Americans left like junk on our beach, and we only have like 4 left. We can't use them on you.
Yeah.
Well, they left a whole the Hong Kong people left a whole boat out there.
Yeah,
There's
the
a ship that
Primrose.
they've just been using for arrow.
We artificially introduced the Iron Age to these people.
Do you guys know about cargo cults?
No.
Oh,
is that like people wear cargo pants?
Well, if that's the case, then I belong to one. Anyone that says cargo pants are stupid, get out of town.
Yeah. That's where I keep my phones.
It's a man purse.
Well, it's for carrying things. You never. I mean, every
Which
self-respecting
men,
man has gear on.
Why don't we carry purses? Like, why does that become a thing? Why is it unmanly to carry a purse?
Just
I mean,
modern social standards.
Dakota just has his
Yeah.
fanny pack, and that's enough.
I'll wear a fanny pack all day.
Yeah, I have a great fanny pack that I wear whenever I'm hunting and
Yep.
kayaking. Love it.
Keep my
But
muzzleloader supplies.
I
right
think
here.
that carrying a purse would come in super handy sometimes.
I prefer a fanny pack. It doesn't have.
I
quite
think
the
our
same
society
connotation.
really messed up.
All right. So anyway,
you can wear.
this
can wear
is
a
Fanny
purse.
Pack Talk, episode 90 of the Boss Hog of Liberty podcast. Jeremiah Morrell, Dakota Davis, Kade Koger, and Logan Cook.
No, cargo cult. So in the 40s, during World War II, in the Pacific, we had an island hopping campaign. We'd go from island to island to get closer to the Japanese mainland. And inevitably, when we'd leave these islands, we would leave behind all kinds of stuff. boxes, metal, runways, et cetera, airplane parts. But while we were on the island, the indigenous people there got used to, the Americans being there, giving them food, giving them easier ways to start fires, weapons, et cetera, medicine. Well, then when the Americans left, they went back to the Stone Age, but they still had all these remnants, right? So there's several of these islands in the South Pacific where there's these cultures that have developed like a religion around, like a mythos around the American GIs. So they will take
around their Zippo lighter that was up behind.
Exactly. But they'll take like pieces of things that were left on the island, and then tree parts or whatever, and they'll build planes. They'll build they can't fly, buddy. But
the
wings don't.
The wings don't flap.
Yeah, it's not like
but
a
like
real
as
plane.
idols.
Yeah, exactly. And they worship them because they want the
It's like the new King Kong movie.
They're praying for World War III, so the guys come back. Yeah.
Exactly. It just shows that technology is it's infectious.
So let's get to know Logan a little bit. We've kind of skimmed the surface. Naturally, a very funny guy.
Oh well, thank you, sir.
I've been watching you on the Facebook and Instagram for a long time. I think Tanner did introduce me to you.
Probably
but,
so.
But we followed on Instagram, and you've been you're very good at the social media game.
Oh, thanks.
The Eder Ford the car dealership. The day job is you're selling selling cars in Crawfordsville.
That's right. Yep.
Which is a big deal.
No, it's cool. I really enjoy it. It's like I don't know. It's just an honest job. It's fun. I enjoy it.
You got a couple out today?
No, I didn't. No, I just posted a bunch of pictures.
I
got backed up a little bit.
The team did.
Yeah,
the team did.
Yeah, that's right.
And and you've restarted comedy.
That's right.
You were doing it a few years ago, and now in the last few months or so, you're back on the scene. Last week you were up in Lafayette. Is that right?
Yeah. I started like 5 years ago, and I went pretty hard for 3 years or so, and my mom passed away, and I was just like I didn't feel funny anymore, and it just took a while to get over it, I guess. And then about 3 months ago, I just got the passion back, and it's like more than ever now. So I've been trying to hit up a bunch of open mics, and last week I was in Lafayette, featured for this guy Andrew Kahn. He's like a YouTube celebrity guy. It was pretty fun. He's a nice guy.
Very cool. So there's a comedy. It's been great. Obviously, the Bob and Tom Show feeds a lot of the comedy in the area, and it supports clubs where they attract.
It supports comics
in
by giving them jobs as writers and things like that. That's super important.
Exactly. And then we have local bars where the up in Muncie, Anderson, Lafayette.
Sure.
There are places that guys can go do open mics, and then, we have Crackers, and we had Morty's for the longest time, and Jokers and Indie. So lots of outlets.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think there's rumors we're getting some more soon. So hopefully, it's about the best time ever for comedy, really. Since the 80s, this is like the golden age, really.
We had talked about with Brent Terhune because of his because of everything he does on social media, his viral videos
One
and
of the
things.
funniest
And he's like,
guys, man.
He's
Hilarious.
on the forefront of this total like media change whenever it comes to comedy and making videos on Instagram and just figuring it out. And now is Instagram famous because of his character portrayal and things.
Well, that's how it happens. There's different paths to the top of the mountain,
Right.
Brent Terhune's a hilarious comic, too.
Oh, he's great.
It's not just like that.
It's not just the
his
shtick
character.
of the video. Yeah.
He's hilarious. Really good joke writer. Really, really clever bits. Very good performer. But this is like I hope it's a launching pad for him to bigger and better things. Because I'm sure he enjoys doing stand up a lot more than. Well, I don't know. Those silly videos are amazing, man. I love them. Actually, the comments are the best thing, and I really,
the comments are great.
I feed off the comments. Like we had a comment today.
That's the point of them.
I shared one of Brent's memes today.
I saw it. Yeah,
and there was a gift of a comment from somebody that said we're not funny. That it was over the line, and it made my day.
Yep, absolutely.
Because it was the opening. I was blue. And then this comment came along and said it's not funny, and I said we double checked. It was very funny. No, we voted 4-0. We won.
Yeah, Brent's a kindred spirit in that sense. One of my favorite things in the world is trolling people online. Like I could write a manifesto on it. You got this is a. I almost don't want to say it live. This is a secret tip for all people that like to cause a little trouble. Okay,
if you're driving in your car. You're the only one that is allowed. The subscriber only can hear this.
That's
Everybody else, you got to put earplugs in, earmuffs. For anybody else in the car, this is just for the subscribers.
You want to take advantage of this and get on Patreon.
Anytime you're in an argument online, whether you're being serious and backing an opinion that you truly hold and making good points about it, or if you're trolling people for effect, the number one technique to be successful is to like or love your own comments.
Yeah.
Because I wish this was hyperbolic. With 100% certainty, if you do that, the person will say, "Oh my God, you liked your own comment," and then you just derail them. You derail them into whatever you want. And
There's,
so
The best part is that
next-
they're checking who's liking your comments.
yeah, because they're like so mad. They're like, no,
keeping
no
score.
no one can have this opinion.
There's a local person on Facebook who he goes by a false name on Facebook, and I guess you would call him our local provocateur. Who his name's Alexander Lott.
Is it
on
Tanner?
Facebook?
Is it Tanner?
No,
I
it's
feel
not.
like it's Tanner.
I can't give up his identity.
Does it rhyme with banner for do?
No, it is not. I mean,
Blink twice.
his profile picture
know
is
each other.
actually him, but his
I see.
what I love is that if you are debating with him on one of his Facebook posts, he will love react
Every single comment.
every single comment. Even if you're arguing with him, he will
Yeah.
love react
Yeah.
your comment.
Yep.
See, and there's progression. There's different steps to different techniques. Just like jiu-jitsu, there's paths, right? So when somebody questions why you like or love your own comment, the proper response is not liking or loving your own comment shows a lack of conviction. Why aren't you liking your own?
Choose your own
A
story.
lack of conviction.
I don't believe that you have any real faith in your position. If
No,
you
it really
like or
makes sense
love
to
your
me,
own
yeah.
comments.
Yeah.
And then they'll start calling you a narcissist and everything else, and then you can take it whichever way you want. And then if someone maybe like, I don't know, angry faces one of your comments, I like to ask
Tag
them.
them.
I like to ask them to make it a smiley face.
What can I do to change that?
Yeah, can you please change that?
I'm sorry, you accidentally clicked angry face, and we only accept smiley face.
Or I'll just say that I reported you or something. 'Cause that makes people furious, even if it's frivolous.
Yep.
Oh man. Well, I have so many. Oh gosh. I definitely want to tell you guys this.
You really
this whole
do need to
story.
write a book. Like
Or at
you
least
really
just a
should.
YouTube series.
All right. This is
Yeah.
this is probably like a 10-minute story. We got time for this?
Oh, we got all the world.
Yeah.
We got all the time.
So, I love trolling people, like I said, right? And before I started selling cars, I was the assistant manager of a Christian thrift store, and then became the manager, actually. So I was the manager of a Christian thrift store, I guess. And it's a very boring job for the most part. You're just like managing like criminals trying to work off community service debts, or older ladies that are trying to have something to do while their husbands are mowing the lawn or whatever. So I had a lot of spare time. And one day it was near Halloween, and I had the idea, there are actually people out there that think they're witches. It would be really funny to join a Facebook group of those type of people,
Yeah.
and then try to employ one of them for my child's Halloween party. So I just go on there, I make a post. I'm like, hey, I'm looking for a witch to come perform at my child's Halloween party. He's 6 years old. There's probably going to be around 25 6 to 8 year olds, parents as well. Money isn't an option, or money isn't an object. I'll fly you out from wherever you are. Within seconds, there were just dozens of comments about, that is not what we do, and all this stuff. I'm like, listen, you don't have to do anything. Like, just stand by the bobbing for apples thing and like look scary, but not like too scary, right? And then they kept coming at me and were being really mean. And I was like, hey, you're going to need to calm it down, or those kids are going to get really freaked out. The one comment I remember before getting banned was, you have no idea how powerful we are. And my response that got me banned was, oh, I think I do. Well, then that progressed. After that, I told them, my buddies were all very similar. We have this ongoing Facebook group chat. And I told them about it and sent them all the screenshots, which I still have. I need to publish the screenshots sometime. Then we as a group decided we should infiltrate a group of people that think they're psychics. So to our
They never saw it coming.
and let me say this about the witches. They were very perceptive. They smelled it out quick. And maybe I came on too strong. I don't know. But they figured it out real fast. To our just absolute delight, we found a Facebook group called Psychic Readings and Discussions. It's still on Facebook, I believe. It had like 11,000 members.
Oh my god!
Wow.
We're like, this is a target-rich environment.
Yeah.
So we join, and we kind of lay low for a little while and kind of get the lay of things, right? This group, there were a lot of people in there giving readings, psychic readings, palm readings, tarot readings, and charging people money for them. And that rubbed all of us the wrong way.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, we got to like do something in here to like take it, like do, I don't know, maybe like at least expose them a little bit. And then there were other people in there that were just giving free readings. And I didn't care about those people. Whatever. Like you're probably some chick that has crystals in her bedroom or something. Whatever. You're not hurting anybody.
Yeah.
But then people would ask about like dead relatives and post pictures of people that had passed on or kids that were missing. And it's like, man, some of this stuff is really heavy. Well, so we decided, okay, if we're going to do this, we need to have like a little bit of like a moral code with it. So it's like, we're not going to give readings to anybody that's asking about dead people. We're only going to say nice things to people. We're not going to ever say like, oh, you're
going to die on Thursday.
I see.
You really should
I
get your
see,
stuff in
exactly.
order.
Nothing like that. Just nice things, right? Give people some hope. And then eventually like pull the plug on it and just pull the rug out and be like, look, none of us are psychics. We're just like above average intelligence and not gullible. Like it's easy to do this stuff. So we looked up all these techniques on like cold reading and things like that. And it's not hard at all, especially on Facebook. Because
You've got time. You're not.
Yeah, I was about to say,
instantaneous.
people put everything about their lives on Facebook.
Yeah.
You just go to their profile and read it back to them vaguely. And everyone believes it because they're self-selected to believe it in that group. It's fantastic. So we started like slow. The people would post pictures of like a room and they'd be like, I felt a weird energy in here. And we'd be like, there is definitely a weird energy in there. It's over by the light in the corner. And they'd be like, that's exactly where I felt it. And it's like, oh, confirmation bias. Sweet. This is how we do this, right? So we do this for a couple weeks and we become it's my friend Luke and my friend Adam and we become the most prolific psychics on this website. Like,
you got your gold star badge.
I mean, people are like posting, because we started asking people to like give us like reviews. So they post in there and be like, oh my gosh, he did such a good job. He gave me so many insights about my life, et cetera, et cetera. Well, then we started getting people messaging us privately for readings. That's where things got a little dicey. So I got
those are the premium ones. Now you got to start charging money.
Yeah.
Well, no, just no. I am a piece of shit, but I do have like I have a weird moral compass. It's like a moral compass in the Bermuda Triangle. It spins around sometimes, but it's still there.
You probably wouldn't have sold that horse for $2.50 like I did. Right.
So, anyways, I get a message this day from this girl. Her name was Kara, and she was pretty. So and she asked me for a private reading. I'm like, oh, why not? Well, I go to her Facebook page. I see that like she is in a relationship with this guy named David. They'd been together like 3 months. It looked like they broke up at one point and got back together. I looked at like some of her quotes and stuff, and I just read it all back to her in really vague terms. I'm like, does the word D or does the letter D have any meaning to you? And then you say things like I sense November is a really important month. Well, because you have a 1 in 12 chance that her birthday's in November, a 1 in 12 chance her boyfriend's birthday's in November, or ad infinitum of friends, family, etc.
Or she just likes Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, it's a time where people come together. It's usually important to people. You could do the same with December.
Yep.
And it always works. And I said that, and she's like, "Oh my God, that is really, that's when my boyfriend and I got together." And then I said, and then you use vague imagery. So like I said, when I look at the picture you sent me, she sent like a picture of her face for the reading. I was like, when I look at the picture, I see a bridge, and I think it's just a time in your life where you're really kind of crossing over into a different phase. And it's, oh my gosh, eats it up, right? And thanks me for all of it, what have you. And I'm like, hey, can you post in the group and give me a review or whatever? So she does. And it's so funny to me at this point, like how ridiculous. It is. So I'm a jiu-jitsu guy. I love MMA. There's this MMA website called The Underground. Are you guys familiar with The Underground?
Yep.
It used to be way cooler than it is now. It's kind of like, it sucks now a little bit. I hate to say it.
Does it jump the shark?
No, it's just, I don't know. It's a bummer. Like, I'm a nerd and I love internet forums, and it used to be just like the Wild West, and it was so fun.
Yeah.
It was like Facebook.
Yeah,
Now-
exactly.
Now Facebook's supposed to be PG as of
But
today.
they've done a lot of good things for the sport, and they still do, and they probably still will for a long time. It's a great place. But there's a section on it called The Other Ground, which is for all non-MMA talk. But it's the same people that would be on the MMA site, and MMA draws kind of wild types, right?
Yeah.
They're kind of
People
crazy
who
people.
enjoy seeing men beat each other up, you know?
So there was always like people messing with people or posting funny things. So I was like, you guys got to. I made a post that said, "I've been giving psychic readings. I'm not a psychic," and just posted all the screenshots of everything, right? And people are loving it. Everyone's just like hilarious, going through the line. Well, the other thing about the Underground is that it's they give out free like lifetime memberships of like to pro fighters, and you get a different colored name if you're a pro fighter. You get a green name. If you're a paid subscriber, you get a blue name. If you're not, you get a black name, right? Well, there was a guy in the UFC named Nick Dennis. He fought. I think he retired because of like worries over traumatic brain injuries, like when he was like 30. It was real, but he it was like probably 5 or 6 years ago. But he had the first standing elbow knockout in the UFC. That was like a big deal at the time. So, and when I posted the screenshots of this conversation, I blacked out the girl's information. Trying to be a nice guy.
You're trying to be, yeah.
But I left her face because she was cute.
You're going all CIA and redacting everything, but
But the pertinent information. He quotes the post or the original with the girl's image, and he goes, "Dude, not cool. I used to date her."
Is he David?
And everyone, people on there are tricksters. Everyone's messing with each other. So I was like, "Bullshit. What's her name?" And he goes, "Kara." And I was like, "Oh shit." I'm gonna get beat up by a UFC fighter. So
$500 off at Logan Eder 4.
So I was like, "Look, man, like I didn't say anything rude to her or mean. Like it's stupid that she believes in this. It's bad for her to believe in this kind of thing. Don't you think we should like help her, like maybe get a better view of the world and not put so much faith into like silly things like this?"
Into random dudes on the internet and pretend like they know what's going on.
And then I said, or if like I don't know how you guys left things, or you could feed me a bunch of information and I could keep going with this. Well, that was late at night. I went to sleep. The next morning, I am banned from psychic readings and discussions. And I have a wall of text message from this Kara girl, just reading me the riot act. I'm the worst person in the world. I can't believe that you would do something like this. I mean, just everything, every name in the book, right? So I message her back and I say, "Look, I'm really sorry that I hurt your feelings. I did not mean to cause you any harm in any way. This was something. It was just a joke. I think it's unfortunate that people take advantage of others in these situations and extract money from them by lying to them. And I think it's probably important that maybe you in the future know to maybe not believe everything you see, right?" And I said, and the other thing was in her message, she said about how that I posted on an internet forum her personal information. Mm-hmm. And so I ended the message and I said, "And by the way, I don't know what your ex-boyfriend told you, but I didn't post any personal information of you. I said your picture was on there, but your name, everything like that was blacked out. And I'm sorry I did that if that hurt your feelings, but I didn't post your information anyway." I shit you not, dude. The message she sent back was, "Well, he did tell me that, but he's not my ex."
Uh-oh. Oh, God.
And I was like, "Oh, really?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Well, what happened?" And she's like, "I don't know. We just we got distant, and we never really got together on things and all this stuff." And I was like, "Oh, well, I was like, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, I hope you have a great life, whatever. And she goes, do you think you could give me a reading on what happened between us?
Oh, my God. So she thought that the personal information was because you were actually guessing all of this and trying to reveal it to people.
In my first reply to her, I, in no uncertain terms, said, I am not a psychic. I'm doing this for fun, and you shouldn't believe everything.
But you really are a psychic.
Oh yeah,
you're just not selling it. Yeah,
that's how I sell it.
There's a
You're just a humble bragger.
Okay, so this is a funny part of the story. Was after like the first week and like the unparalleled success that we all had at this, all three of us, like different people, like we would talk amongst ourselves, but we all had just amazing.
I either hear a coyote or a siren, one or the other. The ghost of Kade's coyote.
Kade's dick got harder.
I'll be right back. I'll be right back. I'm going to take care of this.
Something. Hang on.
I can just see the bloodlust raise up into his eyes.
Oh yeah. He hasn't had blood. He hasn't had mammal blood on him in 3 hours.
There's a man named Guy P. Harrison, and he wrote the book 50 Things People Believe, but 50 Things People Believe That Are Not True, or something like that. Mm-hmm. He's one of the leaders in the skeptic community, and he went undercover as a psychic, but in real life at a fair, set up a booth and everything, and did cold readings on people. And then by the end of it, after they were like, "Oh my God, how does this guy know everything about me?" He revealed, "I'm not a psychic. I am in fact a skeptic, and I'm doing this thing called cold reading," and described to them everything that like. This is how I guessed your birth month. This is how I guessed, your mom died, whatever. And they came out and they were like, he said, usually they weren't thankful at all. Mm-hmm. They were very, very angry.
We wanted a real psychic.
Because, and it wasn't that he had shaken their belief. It was because they just thought, this guy's taking advantage of people. No, he is the one trying to show you that the other guys are taking advantage of you.
Yeah.
The funny thing, after like a week of being super successful, all my friends and I, or the three of us, I guess, there was like a moment where we were like, what if we are psychics?
That's how I...
what if
we've been faking, but we actually had the skill?
What if, this seems like weird that we're so successful with this.
That's how I usually talk about myself. All of my friends, well, the three of us.
Yeah, well.
This one group chat.
The story doesn't end there. It gets better. I promise this will be the end.
It can't get better.
It does. I promise. So
Kara and Logan have been dating for 6 months now.
Certainly not.
She's my wife.
She lived in Canada. She was from Ontario or something.
Hey.
Yeah.
There's parts of Ontario that are only 3.5 hours away.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. I didn't know that. Canada's closer than I thought. Shows how much geography I know. No, so... I told her I would give her a reading on why they broke up if she posted in the group and said that it was a big misunderstanding and got me back in. And she did.
You're on the good.
I'm back in. So there was a guy on there named Dan Geist, and he was like the big Mac Daddy psychic on there. He was the one that everyone wanted readings from. He would only do 10 a week, and he charged like $100 for them.
He's probably got a 1-900 number and everything.
Oh, yeah. He was a piece of shit. If you're watching Dan Geist, you're a piece of shit.
Dan, I don't even want your reading.
You wear eyeliner, and you prey on idiots. So
he senses a disturbance right now.
So I hope so. So we get the idea to my buddy Adam. We get the idea to post because he would give like 5 free readings a week away to people to like hook them, right? So, and
5 to the same person?
No. Like he would into the group. He'd say, "Hey, first 5 people to post in here get a free reading," and then but you would have to post how it went and like how good it was to the rest of the group so that he could get customers.
Yeah.
So I was like, Adam, post like your review of his reading, like a really positive one that you never got. So he did, and this guy immediately messaged him. He's like, I never gave you a reading. and like my buddy was like, no, it was in an email. You sent me an email, and you gave me a reading. It was really accurate. And this dude freaked out. He demanded copies of the email. So, like any sane people,
You created a fake email.
fabricated
Yeah.
emails and like Photoshop timestamps.
You could
and
serve in Hillary
everything.
Clinton's future.
Dude, she called.
Yeah.
She called. I saw it on the caller ID, and I was like, I don't want to get suicided with 2 bullets in the back of my head, so I'm gonna leave this one alone. So we do that, and he loses his mind. He wants Adam to call him, or he wants Adam to talk to the police. He's went to the police because someone has stolen his identity. Now this is where I'm just going to end the story here because this is the best part. It kind of just petered out after this because they started figuring out that these 3 guys that were always like defending each other and they were from the same small town in Indiana,
The Crawfordsville Mafia.
Yeah, they're like, well, this is weird that 3 psychics would come from the same town.
Something in the water.
Yeah, so the image of him calling the police and telling them that someone is impersonating him as a psychic, and then they're like, "Well, what do you do, sir?" And he's like, "Well, I'm a psychic." And just like, I would love to hear the copy. Like, "All right, buddy, click." Yeah, it was one of my favorite things ever. I still have all the screenshots of everything. I need to make it into a book or something. But it's and the craziest part about it was that we were called a lot of things. We were called hackers. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. We got accused of hacking the website and we never did. We didn't do any of that, but we didn't deny it either.
If somebody's going to give you credit for something, you take the credit.
Just go with it. Yeah.
So we got accused of all these things, but not once did we ever get accused of not being actual psychics.
Because nobody in there is an actual psychic.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Like, you just go to psychic.
We can't expose these guys.
It's as real as the South Harmon Institute of Technology. It's like,
So I'm going to save the next troll story for when I get to come back on this show.
There we go.
And it's about we currently run the 2 most popular Therian web pages on Facebook. And if you don't know what a Therian is, you probably had a good life growing up. Your dad was probably around. It's people that it's not that they identify as animals; they think they are animals. So it's like people that think wolves are a very popular one, and it's usually, unfortunately, like teenage kids, like, and they wear tails and stuff. And you can get away.
Do you need any pictures with a coyote?
You can get away with anything. No, well, my name is Lorelei Tallfin, and it's a very intersectional community. If you couldn't have guessed, my name is Lorelei Tallfin, and I am a female timberwolf slash genderqueer megamouse shark /warg. And no one questions it.
This is a safe place. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay, so take the reins back from this.
Oh my
from
God.
These stories here.
All right. I want to talk to you about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay,
Must we?
Yeah.
Oh.
it's way less funny.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I want to talk about how you can beat up my friend Kade.
I don't know, man. Looking at him over there, he's got like a strength and honor shirt on. I'm afraid if he takes his shirt off, he's gonna have like SS lightning bolts on his arm.
Nah,
All right, Kade, take it off.
it's all tractors. I promise.
SS lightning bolts. Oh, that's good. Kade has been
looks
accused of being a lot of things, but never a Nazi.
No, I'm not saying you believed him. I'm just saying that like you might have been a
Says
bodyguard.
the guy wearing a Kekistan shirt.
Oh goodness, they're the silliest people on earth. I love them. They're just such little pranksters.
I can't look at Kade in the face because he's got this screwed up tooth.
Yeah,
Let me see it.
Oh, dude, you guys.
It's really so.
it's really small.
Cade literally
It's
is
really
growing a
not that big.
mustache to distract from his tooth. That's his whole story. That's the story. he's
I'm
given.
really just embracing the Red Dead Redemption thing.
You guys don't know anything. Don't know anything about fucked up teeth. Oh, effed up teeth. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, now 4 weeks in a row we got to mark the explicit button
Illicit.
because we're too lazy to edit.
How are we ever going to book Jim Lucas if we keep cussing like this?
Is that George Lucas's brother?
Jim is the state representative who Dakota thinks he has booked for next week. Spoiler alert. If not, it's just the boys. And he's a state representative who's trying to legalize weed and constitutional carry in Indiana.
That's awesome. Both worthy causes.
There you go.
Yep.
No, I love Mountain Dew. I've drank Mountain Dew my entire life. It's unfortunate. Do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so you
How many
take things to the
kidney stones have you had?
None. I got good genetics.
I give it a
sorta.
year.
I'm 30. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. So my teeth are all messed up. And
I wasn't going to say anything.
No, I get it. About four.
You have perfectly straight teeth.
Yeah, I know.
Now,
Like 4 months ago, pardon me, I got a little aggressive with a BLT, and my front tooth fell out.
What?
You're fake.
Oh my god!
Fake, man.
it's like Grandma at Thanksgiving. The teeth just
not
came
real.
out.
I did
Not
not
real.
see that coming.
I didn't either. I was like, "What are you talking about?
Well, thanks.
You have perfect teeth."
Hey, nice job, Dr. Walker. Thank you. I'm so cheap though. Like I'm such a miser. Like I only did I was like, just give me the cheapest thing I can just pop in and out. And like I think they want me to go back for implants and stuff. And I probably should because this sucks. And I never glue it in. So like even now it kind of like it vibrates around in my mouth. It has fallen out on stage the last 3 times I do comedy. And like it's gotten so much so it's like I have a little thing I say. It's like it gets laughs. I'm like, God, I guess it's a bit now. Who knows? I'm like one of these guys.
You're like Ryan.
Yeah.
with no arms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Is it Ryan Neiman?
Niemiller.
Nemo, yes.
Very
I saw
funny
him
guy.
at Cracker or Morty's probably 2 years ago.
Very funny
Hilarious guy.
Very funny guy. I threw a tube of like tooth glue in my car, so now I'm like, all right, when I go to gigs, glue them in before.
There's a little post-it note on the steering wheel.
It does throw you off.
Fixed
You're
glue.
like, shit.
I bet it does.
It's happened on a lot talking to
man.
customers, like trying to sell a car. Like,
Hey, look, I'm one commission away from getting real teeth. Okay, buddy.
please help.
Can you lower the spotlight so I can find this?
It's either have the temporary ones or feed my kids. So tell me about with the teeth. You don't have to worry about the chipped teeth like Kade does in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Well, you do. I would
It's just less painful.
I would
I
go
always wear
around
a
town
mouthpiece.
pretending like I'm a kick-ass
Yeah.
hockey player.
I have a mouth guard now that happened.
Yeah, I've always worn a mouthpiece since I started. And it's funny. The only reason was I always hated wearing mouthpieces when I was a kid playing sports. And this tournament I was going to do, you had to wear them. So I was like, well, I better get used to it. And once I got used to it, I was like, oh, why not wear them all the time? They're nice. They're not bad. But no, actually, so I haven't been training because I have this back injury. So I've been out of the gym for.
We have the documents. We saw.
Yeah.
We saw the X-ray.
We have the documents. What you don't understand.
That's a perfect.
That was very well done.
Yeah.
Black helicopters. Interdimensional vampire pedophiles. They're coming.
Turn on the friggin' frogs, gay.
They're coming. 1776 will commence again. I love Alex Jones, man.
Excuse me.
He's one of my favorite people on earth.
Yeah.
Chris Guffey's in the
He's
chat
awesome.
now saying that I hate hockey, and I love hockey. I'd love to go to a nice game. He's a season ticket holder, and the son of a bitch won't take me to a game. He's trying to meet women now, and he won't use his tickets on his friends. It's ridiculous.
Americans that like hockey or soccer, I always look at them like dogs that have bit people before. It's like, I don't know about you.
Can't be trusted. Should have been
Yeah.
shot a long time ago.
So in jiu-jitsu though, so I haven't been training. I've been out probably. I was for about 6 to 8 months. I've been taking it pretty easy, but then when this thing happened, I was like, well, this is pretty hard to train with because I was waiting to get a mouthpiece fitted. Well, then I got an MRI, and they were like, hey, you shouldn't train for a while, but I'm gonna blow the doctor's orders and try to tap Gabe out tonight because
Because we'll do anything for content, and it's only for the Patreon.
That's right.
So
And like-
Patreon.com/Boss Hog of Liberty if you want to see it.
and I have like my pain tolerance is just like slightly lower than my pride. So
All right, so you are a brown belt. You have 40 competition wins. Every single one of them.
Some of them. Or
Every-
I don't know how many exactly, but over 40.
You told me that every single one of those has been by submission.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I've never won a match on points.
Also,
Mainly
Have
because
you-
I'm bad at wrestling.
Have you ever lost on points?
I've lost on everything. I've lost a ton. I've lost probably.
You're not
I've
40-0.
No, God, no. I bet I've lost way more than I've won. Maybe not way more. It's probably about even. I don't know.
Batting
Something like
500.
that. Yeah.
you
something like
you
that.
have
That'll
a
put you in
submission.
the Hall of Fame in baseball.
Yeah, right.
You invented a submission.
I don't like. I didn't invent it. I found it.
You
It was
found
there.
You discovered it.
Somebody might have done it before, but no one else had put it online and started hitting it in competition. on
Is
people.
that so? You also told us that you've trained alongside Eddie Bravo. Is
Yeah.
that how he found you?
Well, yeah, sort of. Like I don't know. He has a forum, and then he also posts on the underground, or he used to. So like when I when I started hitting this,
Is he a psychic too?
No. I don't.
Well, maybe
he might be.
He's
It depends on what ayahuasca he's
Eddie
taking
Bravo
that day.
is a tinfoil hat guy.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He really is
Big time.
And Alex Jones,
Big time.
Yeah, big time. He loves Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, he outwoke Alex Jones on Rogan's podcast.
He really did.
Yeah.
Alex Jones is like, no, the moon landings actually happened, and Eddie Bravo's like, no, it's not. No, it didn't. You're a freaking idiot, Alex.
It's amazing.
let alone the Mars landing.
He's a great dude, though. No, so I started hitting this in the gym, and I started catching a lot. And my coach had not seen it before, and none people in the gym had seen it. So I filmed a little thing and put it on Eddie's forum and on the underground. I was like, "Hey, but anybody seen this before?" And everyone was pretty much like, "No," but there was a lot of skepticism, as if it would work like in actuality. I was like, no, I get it. That's it. Until you test something in competition, it's never been. It's not proven. But Eddie commented on it. He's like, oh, it looks cool. I hope so if you get some competition wins, whatever. Well, then I've hit it 3 times in competition so far, and once that happened, it like kind of blew up. Like a bunch of websites started sharing it. People took it more seriously. Well, and then I started going to Eddie's seminars up here in Indy when he would come here to 10th Planet Indy, and showed him it there live, and he knew about it already from online, and then kind of went from there. And then he incorporated it into his system. They call it the go-go clinch, and then there's several different moves off of it. And it feels it's cool. It's like I'll never be that good at jiu-jitsu. I'll never be like some world-class guy, but it's cool to have like something like that. You made an impact on the sport. In a way.
When are you gonna get him to come on here?
I don't know. You might have to like sweeten the pot a little bit for him. You might have to say you have some sort of like map to the real flat Earth truth.
Hey,
we'll
you have a map. You have the map to the inner core.
Our studio is the same studio that the moon landings were filmed in.
Well, I don't know. I don't think Stanley Kubrick's ever been in here.
I don't know. I don't know if you know your World War I history. But we have one of the original Doughboys and its original site. We have both of them within 3 miles of the studio here.
That's pretty cool.
It was stolen and relocated. So stolen valor.
True story.
We got that. So we can show them that.
Okay.
And if you're out driving and you're listening to this right now, it's kind of slick.
Two hands on the wheel. We don't want to have the
just
thing hit.
be very careful.
That is not true.
Do not.
You're
run
better
into
off.
that doughboy.
You're better off in slick conditions to drive with one hand on the wheel because you don't overcorrect. That a state police officer told me that one time.
I could actually see that. Yeah.
Well, if you're near the doughboy, heed this warning.
All right, we're gonna shift. We're gonna shift a little bit here in our topics. A little bit of a less fun of a topic, but the detention center task force, which
this is going to be a riot. What are you talking about?
Yeah, the detention,
I've got so many jokes.
The detention center task force, which is a new kind of committee that has been formed in Henry County to try to mitigate our jail issues. They had a meeting last night. December 5th, 2018. It was at the REMC building in Henry County for some reason. Don't know why it was met in a local utility building instead of the courthaus.
Apparently,
really
nice. Apparently, the other 4-letter facility wasn't open.
Yeah.
It would have been way cooler if it was the REM building.
Oh, that would have been good. That would have been really good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What's the frequency, Kenneth?
So
you guys not listen to REM, all right?
I know what REM is. I've never listened to it.
How old are you?
Oh, seriously, this is a great question. How old do you think he is?
You gotta be. If you don't know, you gotta be like 23.
He's 22.
Okay.
Well,
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22. I like Taylor Swift. I don't care. I'll listen to my car, but I'll roll the windows up so I don't get a hate crime committed on me.
All right. Detention Center Task Force. They met up. It's comprised of a bunch of people who are expertise in this field. Some local counselors and psychologists are also on the task force so that they can try to talk about drug abuse symptoms, how to treat it more properly than what we do now, than just putting people in cages. One of the main things that I saw that they wanted to focus on was reducing the number of people that we actually send to jail. So one of the things is trying to get our locality here away from drug abuse. I didn't go last night, so I don't know what
true libertarian.
If anything actually came up. Like according to Chris Guffey, it was more of the same that's been said. I don't know because I didn't go, but I want to know, what do you think, Logan, about reducing the number of people that we send in jail because of drug abuse?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I'm like way libertarian on that stance. I think a crime has to have a victim. If there's no victim, there's no crime.
So it would be, so obviously we can't control that here in the county. Like, so that would be something that we have to lobby the state legislature to do. But one of the other things I wanted to do was shorten jail sentences away for people who are awaiting trial. So right now, like, obviously, I think it was either 72% or 72 of the people that were in the Henry County Jail were awaiting trial. And most of the time, those are because of drug offenses. So we want to get people away from that. And the way that I think it was, there's a county in Indiana that kind of did a reformation of their bail system. And what they did was the Attorney General's office has a questionnaire that inmates can fill out. And if an inmate passes this questionnaire, answers the questions correctly, and shows that they're nonviolent, then they can serve out and await their sentencing at home. They don't have to take up jail resources. So I thought that was a pretty interesting and a good idea.
What
Very
Henry County,
good idea.
The one thing Henry County is doing to speed up the getting you the hell out, you may not necessarily even need to trial, or you're awaiting trial, or you're not charged yet. They're hiring a case expediter, which is expected to be Butch Baker, the outgoing county commissioner who was a county sheriff.
There's one prosecutor and also a county judge that's very opposed to that right now, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Interesting. It'll be another interesting thing.
The expectation is that's going to happen, and basically you have somebody that's going to look in on the jail and say, yeah, this guy, Bill Smith or whatever his name is, we can get him out of here quickly. And the faster you get somebody out, maybe they can go back to work, they don't lose their job. And instead of having to sit in our jail and we pay for them, they can be out. And whether they're awaiting trial or the charges are going to be dismissed or whatever's going to happen.
Right, because one of the things also, just along with the bail, is after they are sentenced and maybe they are a felon, they're going to prison, then they have to sit in the jail and wait for the state to transfer them. So having a county expediter would also fix that issue because it can take 2 to 3 weeks sometimes. And that's obviously another drain on the resources at the jail. I have on here, how do we fix the bail system? And I already kind of saw that article about getting just kind of doing away with it for people that are awaiting trial. They're nonviolent. They shouldn't even probably be in jail in the first place because there's no victim in their crime. So it's like, let them stay home. They had a plant, or something like that. Like, the vast majority of the people that are serving time in the Henry County Jail are there because of drug-related issues. That has been widely reported. Somewhere around 90%, we know.
If you're nonviolent, we should find a way to get you out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even if they can send you back home on house arrest or something like that.
The problem, the house arrest system, unfortunately, it's set up in a way, Kade, that you have to pay a monthly fee, right?
Yeah.
So we pay $30,000 a year. Our studio is literally 200 feet from the county jail. So I point out this way because the county jail is out through this window. We pay $30,000, $35,000 a year to keep somebody in the county jail. Instead of having somebody in there, we try to charge you to have an ankle bracelet on to sit at home and be in a home release program. And because we have that barrier to entry into that, because these guys don't have a job necessarily, they can't afford to be in the program, they aren't in it. So instead of trying to charge somebody for it, we should say, just take it, go, report in, do your thing you're supposed to do. But instead we spend tens of thousands of dollars keeping somebody in jail.
Yeah.
Right.
Policy decisions that we make.
I also imagine that a lot of this is going to be alleviated through technology. Eventually, there's going to be better tracking systems, cheaper tracking systems. Not that that's a good thing. Like this, I think this feels kind of Orwellian. But if we're talking about fixing the problems at a local level, I suppose.
No, but if it's a volunteer system, right? So if you have the choice, say for whatever reason, somebody's got charges on you, and you have the choice. Hey, would you rather sit in the jail over there, or would you rather consent to? We're going to let you out, but we have this system. We're going to track you. You're going to choose that path.
Of course.
Well, there's already a lot of systems like that in a lot of the Scandinavian countries. I think Norway has already got that in place where they basically have a tracking system, and they for criminals. I read an article this week about Norway, I think it was. Yeah, they basically have an island that they have been using for the testing of contagious animals. They are doing away with the testing facility, and that is where they're going to be sending immigrants to their country now. So if you're an immigrant to Norway, you can only live on that island. And they were talking about the tracking system that they have for criminals there, and it's kind of like you have to check in, but you also have an RFID code, like a card, not like a chip implanted in you yet. We're not that Orwellian, but
we'll get there. Give it
but
time.
you have a card, and it can track you like a locator service. And you have to check into these different government checkpoints every so often. So they're like, well, he's right there. Logan, he's right here. And pretty soon you're just going to be on that island. So we know where we are anyway.
It's shocking that they don't just like track your phone or something.
Right? Like probably because there's some.
Well, I guess you
law.
just get a new phone.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I'm not a police.
Just got a new number.
I'd get outsmarted so easy.
Fooled again. But one of the other points that the detention center task force wanted to bring up was trying to identify some local businesses that are actually going to hire our level 5 and level 6 felons, which is kind of a big deal. My position on that has always been, we as a society, or as a civilization, I guess, determined that your crime is worth spending this much time in a facility, on house arrest, money, whatever. And once you have completed that, then your crime is dismissed.
Absolutely.
You paid back your debt to society, is what we call it. So why should you, one, not be able to have medical marijuana? Why should you not be able to own a firearm?
Absolutely.
Why should you not be able to vote? Why should you not be able to be hired? Which being hired is a little bit different because it's a private enterprise. But all of those things, we all agree that you've paid your debt to society back. Why are we punishing you for the rest of your life further? I think that's horrible.
Oh, absolutely. It's egregious. It's you create a second class of citizen, basically. It's unfortunate, and it's not impossible to rise above it, though. That's the great thing about America, is that even under the worst circumstances, people that are felons or whatever, you can still get out of it, right? And you can still be very successful. There's no barriers to entry in the private market to building your own companies or things like that for felonies.
We absolutely believe in second chances, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of private businesses out there that believe in second chances.
Equality of opportunity. That's what America was founded on.
Absolutely. Yep. Now, is there a reform necessary in the criminal justice system? You bet your ass there is. First off, let's stop locking people up for smoking a drug that makes you silly. Let's stop demonizing these certain things. Let's put the money toward things that we can all agree with. If the will of the people is to be done, then you have to listen to what the people want, and it's not locking up kids for smoking pot or this or that.
The boomers are dying off. Eventually, we're going to get there, man. We just have to wait them out.
Yeah, I hope. Yeah. We'll see.
Very grandma enough time.
I saw this week New Hope in Oregon for mushrooms.
Yeah, I saw that for psilocybin mushrooms. Yeah.
Somebody was like, we would have people running around tripping balls, and it's like, man, better than
you do now.
Yeah,
better than somebody running around drunk.
The people microdosing mushrooms has proven to be very effective for a lot of things. Same with microdosing LSD. There's a lot of different uses for a lot of things that have been demonized. And it's so weird. We punish people not because of the effect that it has on a person, but because it's seen by other people as like, oh, you feel way too good.
Well,
we need to demonize this.
The justification it's not necessarily been that. The justification's, and not in my opinion at least, the justification's always been the ancillary crimes. So drug use makes you more prone to steal things or commit fraud or commit violence.
Right.
Yeah.
So the idea is you stem it at the source or cut the head off the snake. Then if that's I guess the most accepted view of what's happening.
So this week we had the anniversary of Prohibition.
Mm-hmm.
Prohibition was repealed December 5th, I think probably, I don't know.
1933.
1933.
All right, there we go.
85 years ago.
Prohibition doesn't work.
No,
if anything.
absolutely.
When you say no, it just creates a black market.
Absolutely.
So the drug war and so much of the violence that we have, it roots back in the theft, the property crimes that come from it, the problems we have in families are because of prohibition of drugs.
And it's a never-ending cycle. It's a never-ending cycle because human beings, we're different than the rest of animal nature. We addict to things. We can addict to anything. We can addict to coffee, booze, cigarettes.
I'm hardcore addicted to coffee.
Yeah, drugs.
Yeah. Cell phones.
We addict to people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no coincidence that a broken heart and heroin withdrawal share similar what's the word? Symptoms.
Yeah.
So addressing why we addict and how to and why it's such a problem in today's society, I think is also an important aspect of it. Until you can really look at what these different drugs do, and then things like psilocybin that show so much
potential, just raw
to help
potential.
people.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is it took us 11 years to realize that alcohol prohibition didn't work, and it's taken us way longer than that to realize that the prohibition of marijuana and mushrooms and LSD doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like we
We're not
have
necessarily
firsthand
condoning-
evidence right here.
Right, we're not condoning that people go out and do drugs. Right, that's not the
No.
point. That's not. It's not a. But
You can
at the same time, you can realize that hey, this approach isn't working.
Yeah.
Right, the war on drugs is just leading to more violence. Just like prohibition of alcohol did the same thing. You don't have to drink alcohol. You don't have to do drugs. But when you create a black market, you create violence.
Absolutely.
right.
And by the way,
Nothing
you're
but bad
creating
things.
you're creating the terrible things you see on the border between the United States and Mexico are because of the war on drugs. We caused that. It's our bad public policy. So
Yeah.
we'll see where it's going. We've talked about it a number of times in the show that the jail or the detention or the rehabilitation issue is going to be something for watch for a long time.
Of course.
In our community, there's potential of a tax increase that's coming. We've advocated, or at least I did in my campaign, refinancing bonds. We've seen the economy is slipping, which is going to make that project even more difficult. Public bond rates are going up. They're increasing, which is going to make it more expensive for counties to borrow. The longer this takes, the more expensive that bond is going to be, the less. Basically, what's going to happen is without a property tax increase or a referendum, you're going to see the actual purchasing power of the county go down the longer they wait, because the rate that the county is going to have to pay for that bond, even if you have a AAA or a AA bond rating, you're not going to buy as much. It's just like you're borrowing. You're working car finance, right?
Yeah,
So as
absolutely.
interest rates go up, say you want to buy a $30,000 car, a year ago it may have cost $250 a month to buy that car. Now it's $280 a month because interest rates went up.
And we've seen the feds raise the interest rate like 3 or 4 times in the last few months, which is typically good economic policy when the economy is doing well. But they've really pushed the limits here. I feel like
We're starting to see it weaken.
Yeah.
We were in the Weird Libertarians, the big chat this morning. Chris Spangle and I had a conversation about mortgage rates.
Right.
And what my rate on I refinanced my house in 2016. I got a 15-year rate at 2.75%. You look today, it's around 4.5, 4.3, 4.5, somewhere in that range, because we've seen the Fed raise rates by 2%. And that's going to put strain on purchasing power for counties, for governments, and for individuals. So it's an interesting time. It's a difficult time. It's this jail project really for the county to get the most bang for the buck. This needed to happen 2 years ago.
Yeah, Kim Kronk. One important thing I wanted to note is Commissioner Kronk. He told the Courier-Times that he has been having conversations with Fayette County and Hancock County about building a regional jail, which is a point that Jeremiah's campaign this past summer hit really hard. We hit hard having a regional jail because the state caused the problem of jail overcrowding by putting level 6 felonies in county jails. So they needed to fix the problem, and one potential solution to that was regional jails. We talked about that on the state Senate debate that we hosted here with the potential state senators that we had, was building regional jails, and it was very well received by all of them. So I think it's interesting that Commissioner Kronk has been having these conversations.
Commissioner Kim Kronk sounds like somebody that would be hanging out with like Little John and the East Side Boys.
He's definitely somebody that would hang out with
Commissioner Kim Kronk on the track. Yay! So what other ideas do we have to bring to the table? Since Commissioner Kronk's been obviously taking our idea of a regional jail. We're the behind the scenes legislators of this county. It seems
can't get elected, but damn it, we can come up with public policy and they can steal it, and that's even better. If we can just decide what happens and they go implement it, hey, more time for podcasts.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
You guys could hire one of the level 6 felons to be the new Chris.
Well,
Chris is free.
Chris
so
does work that the
pretty damn cheap.
Chris does work that the Mexicans don't want to. Basically,
yeah,
yeah. I don't know. I want to see what's going to happen. Henry County is going to have to solve this issue, whether we partner with Hancock County or Fayette County or Rush County is already building their jail. Delaware County, they've got a $25-30 million plan where they're rehabbing an elementary school. Those are brand new. Bought them for you. You're welcome. Dakota found the mixed nuts that he brought himself.
I bought these last weekend.
I take credit for them. We need to start wrapping this up because we got a whole other segment for the Patreon people we're going to do in the other room.
Right, we do.
We got the grappling coming.
We've made it through our show notes. It's time for final thoughts, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's wrap it up.
That means, Logan, we're going to start with you. What are your final thoughts?
Well, you're going left to right. We've never done this before.
I know. I'm changing it up a little bit.
Left to right.
I don't like it when we change things.
A whole episode of changes for you, Jeremiah.
I've spent the entire episode of my wrapping the my headphone cable up tighter and tighter.
What have you done?
Because
what have
it's
you
the
done?
only way this cable is shorted out.
Do you need a fidget cube?
I think my thumb is going to turn purple.
Calm down, Rain Man.
But this is the
Rain
only
Man,
way the
don't know how
headsets
perfect
will work.
that is.
There's 11 listeners right now.
There's
11 listeners.
There's Logan Cook's over here trying to do his final thoughts, and Jeremiah's over here screeching about his cable.
No, my final thoughts. This was a lot of fun. You guys are kindred spirits, and this is it's been cool. Hopefully we'll get to come back. I hope everyone enjoyed listening to my rants and me try to join in with people that are way smarter than me about politics. Like everything you guys were saying, I'm like, yeah, it sounds cool. I'm probably just gonna play video games though.
Yeah, it's a big headache. I don't know why we ever said, you know what? You know how we're gonna make a great podcast? Let's talk about politics in a small town in Indiana.
There's a lot to keep up with. We didn't think it would be this
Politics is important, and honestly, local politics is probably the most important. It's where you have the most chance of affecting
what
real
I think.
change.
Since we've been paying attention to local politics, I have been so lackadaisical on like the national side of things.
Yeah. It's just that we want the national side is just so much more like.
It's what everyone talks about, so you feel like you have to be informed about it, right?
and like the policies that you're trying to change at a national level have such a widespread effect. They're just so much more grandiose, So it's easier.
Yeah.
It's easier for people to get behind it. But it's like it's so hard for people to be like, well, there's 77 people in the Henry County Jail right now. We'd like there to be 50 people. It's like that's hard to quantify to people,
right? And it's hard to go around and tell people, listen, if you elect this man, he's running as a conservative. But he said to me on a show, he wants to raise your taxes, and there is an alternative. And they're like, how much is the tax raise? It's like, well, it's 0.02%. They're like,
just a little fraction.
That's like $75 a year. No, you don't understand. It's the principle behind that. And they're like, no, I can't vote for libertarians because on the national side, Gary Johnson did this. Okay,
so this is my actual final thought, and it's a question to all of you, okay? I want to know...
If you're going to say, what is Aleppo, we're going to shut your microphone off right now.
No.
Aleppo is an old wooden ship.
Alep is a ball. Alep is a ball. You guys remember the memory tests? I-step tests? Where you had to remember shit?
I didn't go to school.
You went to homeschool?
Yeah.
Oh.
Can you tell?
No, that's cool. That's cool. Did you ever hit on your teacher?
just the one.
I'm half a teacher.
just the first 2 times, and then it was over.
No, nothing wrong with homeschool. Like some of the smartest people I know are homeschooled, and that says a lot.
And weird.
Yeah, right. And well, yeah, but weird in the best ways. But not all of them. Some of them are weird in the worst ways.
I consider myself a 6th grade dropout. I mean, I was like K through 6 in public school. school. So I learned to read and write, and then after that, I was just like
I had so much fun in public school because when I was in public school, it was like right before they really cracked down on like fun. Like they brought now there's cops in schools, and it's just we got away with so much. It was awesome.
Okay, hold on a second.
I have out of my hand.
I have a good story that I know you're going to appreciate.
Okay.
Whenever I was a kid, whenever I was in high school, I was in the band.
No way.
And my best friend was also in the band with me, and the vice principal of the school used to be the band teacher, and he loved my friend and I. And
inappropriately.
There is a like a trend at Crawfordsville High School. The band when I was in school, the band teacher
this was at Tri High.
He diddled some diddled
I
some
think
trombones, if you know what I'm saying.
I'm pretty sure the statute of limitations is up.
Oh,
but we could get away with anything.
You've been out of school for 1,000 days, Dakota. I don't think it's up.
I
don't think that word means what you think it means.
My old vice principal dislikes me now.
No kidding.
we one time after school, we climbed in the ceiling and through a teacher's closet and ended up breaking the ceiling tile because we fell through it. Yeah. We also one time stole the vice principal's master key to the school, and it was for a very innocent reason. We wanted to get into our first period class before everybody else so that we could set our books down, and the door was always locked.
You're like Professor Chaos.
So we just, we did what any logical kid would do, and we stole a master key, and we went and unlocked the door every morning. One day we noticed that the camera was pointed to us towards the door because they were frustrated. So we just moved the camera and then unlocked the door. And then eventually every single lock in the building got changed.
So then you had to steal the key again.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So look, you had a question.
Oh yeah, a question for each of you. What is where do you differ with classical libertarian ideology? Like, where are you the least libertarian?
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah, I got a good one.
Okay, well, no,
who do you want to start with?
Go. Here, right to my right.
We'll start with Dakota.
To me.
Go ahead, buddy.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely more pro-life than most libertarians, and I also, I have a view of the Libertarian Party, especially nationally, that it's more pragmatic, and it's not anarchist. Mm-hmm. So
we're more pragmatic.
Yeah,
the party. There are the Michigan libertarians that show up holding silicone penises
at
the national convention, waving them in your face. Not helpful.
No, right? That you're hurting the cause.
As a chairman for a county party, I like to think that it's more pragmatic. Most libertarians believe that yes, government does have a role in our society, and
its role is to make itself as small as possible.
Yeah, and I think that I don't believe in total anarchy, but I am definitely more pro-life than a lot of libertarians.
Okay. Jeremiah.
So for me, the biggest place I've differed with the Libertarian Party has been on roads and how we fund them. My day job, I'm in road construction, right? So in the Constitution, it says, hey, we're gonna have postal roads, we're gonna have roads. We all want roads. Everyone wants to pay for them. We do a terrible job as a government of actually taking road dollars and putting it on roads. But I am not opposed to fuel taxes, right? Nobody gets a free ride, so if we want to have great quality interstates, great roads, great county roads, we bitch about them constantly, then I'm okay with fuel taxes. So there was a fuel tax that came in a couple of years ago, and I was actually okay with that, which is the unpopular libertarian position.
You were okay with it as long as all of the funding actually went
as long
roads.
as road money goes to roads. This year the governor dreamed up a plan to refinance the toll road again, get some extra money, and screw the truckers. And whatever. There's going to be a rate. What it is what it is, and you can make decisions if you want to use a toll road or you don't want to use a toll road. But 100% of that money is not going to go to the roads. He's going to send some of it to rural broadband. He's going to pick this pet project, that pet project. If you're charging a toll to go on a road, then that money ought to go towards actual roads and not towards paths or pedestrian trails or subsidizing Amtrak going to Chicago or something like that. Road dollars ought to go to roads. But on the general principle, I'm okay with taxes because it's a user fee for that. Now, when Indiana just paid $10 million to study road tolling of I-65, I-70, and I-94 in Indiana, potentially taking them from 2 lanes to 3 lanes all across the state. I looked at the numbers and they said, hey, we could have an extra $1 billion a year if we screwed the taxpayers and charged you to commute on those roads. I looked at it, and for my wife to commute from Newcastle to Indianapolis 5 days a week, it would have been $200 a month. That would suck. You would either crush 38 and 234 going into Indianapolis or US 40 going into the city, and nobody would use I-70, or people are just not going to go. You're going to kill bedroom communities. So
happens a lot. Audrey and I went down to Tennessee for Thanksgiving, and we got to Louisville at the bridge, which is a toll road.
The ORB. ORB.
We just decided to get off at the Louisville exit, go through downtown Louisville, and get back on the highway.
Yep. You dodge the $4 toll.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens. I support toll roads, but it's a voluntary thing, right? If you want to drive on them, you want to go through quicker. You drive through Atlanta and you go at 2:00 in the morning, and you can drive in the toll lane, and it's you pay a price for the extra speed.
Sure,
right.
So it's like 3 cents to drive in the toll lane at 1 in the morning when nobody's in it. You want to drive in it during rush hour, it's an extra $2 or $3.
I would just so much rather be paying that to a private company that was maintaining the roads.
And that's what happens. That's what happens on the Northern Indiana Toll Road, where they lease it to this big consortium. Who knows? Who knows where it's going to go long term? But that's where I differ.
Okay.
I always say I'm a libertarian, but I'm okay with stoplights and stop signs.
Yeah, right.
A little bit of order.
I'm a libertarian that thinks driver's license are okay.
Right.
Yeah.
In Indiana, we have our Constitution says we have to have public schools. So we have this fight with the guy that used to be our national chairman, who showed up at a state convention a few years ago. A guy named Irvin Vora, who's a nightmare of a person, but
you're a horrible person.
And he was bitching about our party policy here, and the biggest thing we were worried about was Sunday sales and legalizing, getting alcohol for people on Sundays, because it was a low hanging fruit item. We've talked about it for a long time, and it actually happened, and we were big contributors to that. But he was talking about, you need to eliminate public schools. You need to get rid of big things like that. Well, our state constitution says in Indiana we're going to have public schools. Yeah. So let's it's the art of the possible.
Sure. That's a very good way to put it.
Yeah.
Very good way to put it.
I mean, obviously we can reform public schools, but
Now, Chris Guffey was here earlier. He's going to talk about how you just steal money from through the federal government as a farmer. You just line in your pockets as a fake farmer.
Well, it's hard to find anyone that doesn't use that kind of government assistance. But I would say it comes back to pragmatic tax use. The staple of libertarianism is taxation is theft, but there's things that we do need. There's things that we do need small government for. I would say it comes down to that.
You and I are very similar libertarians in that we're both very constitutional libertarians.
Yeah.
And it's more of just, this is the avenue that government can be scaled back more realistically in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Because the Republicans are doing a horrible job at it, even though they campaign on it.
Yep.
I look at the what we call Sam Goldstein, former state chairman. He's on the national committee now, a guy from Indianapolis. He calls them the old parties. The Democrats and Republicans are the old parties. Mm-hmm. They've been around forever, and we're only 40 years old. Talks about the old parties and the way they operate, and I get so irritated at how pure a Republican will act like they are until they're actually in charge.
Oh, of course.
Right. They're for limited government. They're for lower taxes. And then, Paul Ryan is the guy that they're showing in on camera throwing grandma off the cliff, right? He becomes the Speaker of the House, and they have the biggest deficits in the history of the United States while he's the Speaker. He is in charge of the budget. They control the purse strings. And if your party's in charge, you are all for growing the government.
Yep.
You just...
Yeah, you can't help but feel that these guys that get into it with that mindset, it's like trying to turn a battleship with a straw, or with an oar. It's just never gonna.
The hypocrisy
That's
is
a really
what I
good
can't
analogy.
stand.
I like
just
that.
Never. It's just there's so much momentum going against it.
So the nice thing about being a member of the Libertarian Party is I don't have to be a professional hypocrite.
Right. I'm surprised. See, mine would be open borders. I'm not an open borders guy. I think that's crazy talk.
I'm also not an open borders guy at the current moment.
Yeah.
I think that open borders could be achieved if other planks of the libertarian platform were also achieved, and we had this utopia that we dream about. Then open borders could happen.
Utopias,
but
utopias are dependent on one thing, in my opinion. And that is a
perfect human morality.
Well, a fundamental misunderstanding of human nature. And I think that's a big difference between liberals and conservatives. Liberals view human nature or humans as intrinsically good, while I think many conservatives, and I think rightfully so, I think we're not necessarily intrinsically evil, but we have capacities for both.
Well, you have to have a certain idealism as a libertarian with limited
Really?
government.
See,
I think so, because I don't think liberals specifically think that people are inherently good. I think to believe that
They think government is inherently good. Government is better than you are, right?
Well, I think that to believe that people are inherently good means that you can trust people to run their own lives.
Interesting. That's an interesting point.
If people are just horrible, then you need a big nanny state to run their lives for them.
I guess where I'm coming from is this idea that there's not evil in the world, and there's not bad people in the world, and there's not other countries.
Yeah, I believe
that definitely
I agree
do
with
not
you there.
do not value American the ideologies that make us what we are.
They don't believe that
believe
culture
in liberty,
is significant.
Freedom. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Right.
Yes, exactly.
But it's about individuals. To me, it's an individual thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You wrap yourself in the flag of nationalism, and it's really a whole lot of individuals. I live in the United States because I was born here,
sure,
and I understand the laws of the nation, and I appreciate the liberties that we have, and I don't want to live anywhere else.
Absolutely.
But I think that if somebody else wants to move here and do what it takes to be an American, then absolutely come in and
adopt the morals, customs, values of America.
I'm not as worried about the customs as long as you live within the law or the spirit of the non-violence. You get along.
Now, see, I'm
not a protectionist of this. Well, this is the way we live, and this is what.
Sure.
Live any way you want to. Just don't hurt somebody else.
No, and I'm fine with that too. But I think that I think that is ideally American.
Right.
The idea that
now the open borders thing. We have a huge magnet here, right? If you can get in, then we have free schools,
absolutely.
And we have potential. You have to, we have what turns into free health care, and we have all of these magnet
The largest
items.
problem, I would say, is the welfare state.
If we can get rid of the welfare state or get it under control, then that solves a whole lot of the problems with open borders. We don't have
also the war on drugs.
Yeah, but it's also there is finite resources and finite. You can't just have a floodgate open and bring in everyone.
I believe that culture is important, and I believe that our culture is very important to our way of life.
Yeah, I think this leftist postmodern concept that all cultures are equal is horse dung.
I completely agree.
The West is the best. I'm sorry. Sorry. There are better and worse cultures. There's nothing wrong with saying that ours is the best. I'll go on record.
But if people are coming here,
it's because
it's going to win, right?
So yes, it should.
It's the idea. I don't think that somebody's going to come in and you're not.
It should, but that's not what we're seeing. We're seeing this balkanization of ideals when people get here. And these insular communities. Detroit is primarily. It might as well be Somalia.
You see the war on Christmas and the fear, and this year the cycle has been even worse of the Me Too where you can't sing certain songs, and all of a sudden VeggieTales is a problem, and
I think a lot of
day after day of clickbait things. But I think that it's caused people to say no, the hell with it. You guys, I think people see through it and they realize that it's just people screaming on the internet.
Sure.
You're right, it's clickbait nonsense, and the vast majority of people don't believe any of it. There's this tiny minority that is very, very loud that is seen everywhere in every single level of politics where you get people that are very loud and people who just go, well, it's been okay, so I'm not going to say anything about it. And the loud people end up making the biggest ruckus. But back to your point about saying the West is best, there was a concept in early American immigration that naturalization.
Yes, exactly.
Where you come into a country, and it's very, very important for the country that you come into to respect your culture, but also for you to mutually respect their culture and try to integrate into it as well. And I think that a lot of immigrants really do try to do that. I think the vast majority of immigrants try to do that. But the current state of media has perpetuated this image of immigrants that try to hate anything that has to do with the West because it's good for clicks, and it tries to drive up this sensationalism.
But
because we have seen it in European countries. It has
Absolutely.
happened. It hasn't happened here
yet.
But the media tries to capitalize on this event that's happened in Europe and try to say, look, this is what's going to happen to America. But I think that we have enough protection in place already to keep that from happening here. And our culture is vastly different from that in Europe.
But I also feel like that what the media is doing is Trump's election was essentially a bomb that exploded and sent everyone to the far reaches of either party, I feel like, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And these people on the left, I'm trying to think of how to put this. When they don't want to look at the fact that that the idea that you can rank cultures, right? So we have to. So they come here, or the media will say,
it's the structure that's wrong.
It's America is wrong for its ideals, and I feel like there's so much especially like being pushed on the far left, that American exceptionalism is bad, and that thinking that it's a good idea for people coming here from other cultures to assimilate, or thinking that that's a racist concept. That's what drives me crazy. And the problem is that people in large, not just people from other countries, but people from America everywhere, most people are not very well informed, and most people are not very intelligent. So they're easily led and manipulated. So especially the youth right now, they see all the people in pop culture, et cetera, embracing all of these just wacky commie policies and ideas, and then that's what scares me. What scares me is this generation coming up that has, the inability to sense bullshit. I've never seen. I've never seen a group
It is
of people.
very strange. It is very strange because we have a media that is perpetually portraying the opposite side as blatant evil, but it happens on both sides.
Oh, it sure does.
Like it's it's very polarizing.
I feel like
it's hard. It's very hard to be a person who's coming forth into American politics for the first time and trying to decide and going, oh my God, who do I believe?
I think
where is this line?
I think we've
and that's where we need to come into. That's where, as libertarians, as centrists,
pure clickbait.
Yeah.
And what because that's what gets everybody fired up.
Sure.
So as we see stories, that's the thing that then recharges the people on the right side of the argument, because you see this in the flames get fanned, and then you get lit up on the right hand side or the left hand side. Then you come back and you put on your war paint and you go back for another battle. So, man, we are getting to the point where we do need to wrap it up so that we can do this. we can do what we've promised to the Patreon people and do a roll. Logan, how do we follow you?
You can follow me on Facebook, Logan Cook. My profile picture is a dumb picture of me and my friend with a car.
It's a Top Gear logo too.
With the top, somebody added that on there, and I was like, that's hilarious. It's at @Loge LOGE on Instagram. I think it's at the Loge, all one word, on Twitter. My email is logan5146@gmail.com, so you can send me something on there if you'd like. Just add me on Facebook, follow me, and that's where I post my comedy dates. Also, check out Mad Hatter Productions on Facebook. I do a lot of shows with them. They're good people. So, and you can check out my business page, Logan at Eder Forward. So, thanks for having me, guys.
All right, Kade. Real quick with you as we're doing final thoughts. You've got your prototype here tonight for the the Mac or the John Chow display.
Yeah. If you have a mount at home on the wall and you want to change the way that it looks, you put these together and you've got a dual hinge mounting system. You mount it to the wall, you mount one to the back of the mount, and you can swing it on the wall to give it any angle that you would like.
So back in the day, there used to be paintings where the eyes would follow you. Now the deer can follow you.
Yeah.
It's
when are you going to put a small motor on it?
Yeah, I need to.
That'd be cool.
Remote control.
Make it like
version
the big mouth
2.0.
belly bass.
Yeah. So somebody's
Hello, my
already
honey.
said that.
Hello, my darling.
It's just a little project that I came up with.
so you are going to be selling
super cool.
those.
And
Very ingenious.
If you would like to buy one, they're $30. And if you mention that you saw this on the Boss Hog of Liberty
Or
podcast,
you heard it on the Boss Hog podcast.
I will take that $30 and I will put it right back into the fund for the podcast.
And it will pay for the heat. And next week, maybe we can have it to 67 degrees in here.
And if you just live out of state or out of here anywhere, I'll ship it to you. It'll be $30 plus shipping and handling.
There we
but,
go.
We'll get it to you.
I'm just tired of seeing your nips be so damn hard in here, and I feel bad that it's so cold.
Yeah, chilly.
It's like David Letterman's studio. All right, final thoughts from Dakota. Got anything?
No, I got everything out whenever I was over here talking to Logan.
It was therapy. All right, so next Sunday, I'm going to be on the Juice in the Morning podcast. We're negotiating to get Dakota on there as well. Justin Cook and those guys.
Yeah, what the heck? They just reach out to Jeremiah.
No, I started it. I bought my way on. Like everything else, I bought my way on the show. Or Justin Kelly, rather. I joined their group $1 a month or whatever, and kicked it in. We had talked about being on their show 2 or 3, 4 months ago. It didn't work out. So Sunday night I'm going to record. I'm going to try to get Dakota on there too. We're negotiating. We'll find a way. So we're going to be on there, and then Justin will be on our show later. Logan, I know, has been talking about trying to do a podcast on his own, so I'm going to self-invite myself on your show.
You're more than welcome to come on.
When it happens.
We are working on all of the particulars, and it's to be quite honest, coming here, it is so discouraging. I'm thinking about our equipment, like how we're going to set it all up, and I'm like, oh my god, this is going to be awful. As you were saying, and I'm like, I wonder.
We started with $300 worth of
I could rent their studio or something.
Well, the problem is we're halfway between Indianapolis and Dayton. I'm amazed that people actually show up here and come and visit, but it's I'm very thankful you came.
Oh man, thanks for having me, man. That's awesome.
This show we're a year and a half in. This is episode 90 tonight, and we started around a table in my living room.
That's awesome.
With a borrowed board from Chris Spangle and a laptop, and a few microphones that I bought for like $12 on Amazon probably on a Black Friday special, and we've grown from there.
Yeah, I better hurry. Your wife is not happy with you.
Uh-oh.
Let's
wrap it up, guys.
Once she's already mad, who cares, right? Whatever.
Yeah. How much more mad could she get?
Yeah.
Let's test it. Let's find out.
It's like water's wet. Once you're in the pool, you're wet. She's pissed. What are we gonna do?
That's spoken like a man with a prenup.
Let's go. She's got an agenda. I don't know what it is. Anyway, So Sunday we'll be on that. Logan, we're gonna get you going on a podcast. We'll, you definitely don't need the studio lights and the camera and everything else. You could build up to it.
Oh,
and
yeah,
honestly, a Zoom H6 and a couple of microphones and you're in business. That's
awesome.
A studio in a box right there. So
that's awesome.
Appreciate everybody listening to the show. We're gonna go to the next room over. We're gonna record something. It'll be in the Patreon feed. It'll be in the insider group on. Once you join our Patreon, you get put in a special group on Facebook that only is for the Patreon people, $5 a month and above, and we'll have the video over there. So either Kade's going to have the most miraculous victory we've ever seen in our life, or and we're going to break Logan's back. Or
we're going to prove that
or what we
Jitsu
expect.
works.
Yeah, it definitely works.
Or what we expect is
one way or another, it works.
Cade's going to leave with another tooth missing. So we will see you guys next week. And next week, you got an official announcement on our show or on our guest next week?
Not yet. No.
Not yet. But we're in negotiations.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Vagaries. All right.
I heard his name rhymes with Melon Husk.
So we'll have Elon Musk next week, and everybody gets a Tesla.
Yay.
Thank you for listening to the Boss Hog of Liberty, which is part of the We Are Libertarians Network. I am Chris Spangle, and I am the founder of this network, and I invite you to listen to all of our shows, which you can find at WeAreLibertarians.com or by searching for these in your podcatcher. The flagship show is the We Are Libertarians podcast, where we apply libertarian principles to current events. The Brian Nichols Show is a conversation amongst Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, Independents, as they talk about what is happening in the news. And we have many other podcasts like The Chris Spangle Show, Upward, The Cost, Raw Audio Politics, Miranda's World, and Tad Talk, which is quite a ride. So check all of these out. Go to WeAreLibertarians.com and you can check out all of our great podcasts. Thanks for listening. Thank you for listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Get our other shows at WeAreLibertarians.com.